Hi! Welcome back to Statistics class, Module 1, Topic 2, Basic Concepts. What is data? Okay, first I will give you an example of statistical data from the Bible. Who is the first king of Israel? Answer is Paul. Okay. What year did the famous Great Disappointment happen? Answer is 1844. If you got it, that's great. Next question. How many plagues did God send to Egypt? Answer is 10. And how many stones did David pick up in his battle with Goliath? Answer is 5. Next question. How many active students does CPAC have? And how many active members does your church have? So, all these answers are the facts and figures that are collected, presented, and analyzed. So, that is data. It can be numeric, like numbers, or non-numeric, or categories. The W's, the who, what, and in what units, when, where, why, and how. So that is your data. Any facts and figures you've collected and presented. And we have two broad categories of statistics. We have descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So what is this? So descriptive statistics, let us define it. It is used to describe a mass of data in a clear, concise, and informative way. This is just an information that you have described, or it deals with the methods of organizing, summarizing, and presenting of data. And it comprises those methods concerned with collecting and describing a set of data to yield meaningful information. From the word itself, descriptive statistics, all you do is just describe. Okay, and then what is the second type of statistics? We have the inferential statistics. Let's define it. It is concerned with generalizing about the characteristics of a larger set where only a part is examined. For example, the CPAC students' level of church involvement. And then I've gathered using a proper methodology, research methodology, and sampling. I have 100 representatives from first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. And then my data presents or resulted that they are highly active in church involvement. So I can say or I can generalize that all CPAC students are active in church involvement. So when I say inferential statistics, it comprises those methods concerned with the analysis of a subset data leading to predictions or inferences about the entire set of data. That means I can generalize. I can make an inference about the population just by using some samples or a subset of the sample. So what is this sample? So let's define first population. Using the previous example, CPAC students is the population, everyone. So it consists of the totality of the observation in which we are concerned. And it is a complete collection of all elements, scores, people, measurements, and so on, to be studied. And it is a collection, or the collection is complete in a sense that it includes all subjects to be studied. So that is the population. So I know you understand what is population is. And then sample. or a sub-collection of elements drawn from a population using the previous example. I've gathered 100 from first year, 100 from second year, third year, and fourth year, and I will call them sample because I've got this certain number or collection or elements or students from the CPAC population. So that is sample. Next is the nature of data. We have two nature of data, the parameter and the statistics. So what is this parameter? A numerical measurement describing some characteristics of a population. So if I've gathered information from the population of, or I've taken an information from the population, then that measurement, I call it as parameter. Okay. And then statistics, a numerical measurement describing some characteristics of a sample. So for example, if I've just gathered some samples from first year, second year, third year, fourth year, then I will call that data or that numerical measurement as statistics. So that's the difference between the parameter and statistics. When I say parameter, it pertains to population. And when I say statistics, it pertains to samples. So that's it. And then we have the sources of data. We have primary and secondary data. So what is this primary data? This primary data is are the data collected firsthand by the researcher. For example, an agricultural student do some experiment. Example, the plant height. Or from the biology students, they've gathered they also do their experiment or their research. So they're the ones gathering their data or data which are acquired directly from the source. So you call it as primary data. And then what is this secondary data? It is the data which are not acquired directly from the source. For example, in doing your survey, you just got the information from the registrar. Or for example, in Philippine Statistics Authority or in the barangay. So you've gathered the secondary data because it's not you who gathered the information firsthand. So that is the difference between the primary data and the secondary data. Now, what is the characteristics of data? We have constant and variable. When we say constant, it is a characteristics of objects, people, or events that does not vary. Remember that does not vary. And variable is a characteristics of objects, people, or events that varies. So it is an attribute or characteristics of interest measurable on each unit of the population. So what's the difference between them? For example, the 9.8 meter per second squared is the acceleration of the free falling object or the gravitational force. That means it's constant throughout the earth. So that means it does not vary. Okay, and then example, the religious affiliation. We have Seventh-day Adventist, we have Roman Catholic, we have the Baptist. So it is a variable. Religious affiliation is a variable because this characteristics varies among people or in your population. But remember, a constant and variable could also be limited to your population. For example, religious affiliation as Seventh-day Adventist, when my population is Negros Occidental, then it can be variable because some people are Roman Catholic, some people are Adventist, some people are Baptist. So it varies in Negros Occidental, but when my population is the CPAC faculty, again, my population is CPAC faculty, this Seventh-day Adventist religious affiliation becomes constant because all of your people or objects are all Seventh-day Adventists. Okay, so be mindful of your constant and variable. It depends on your population frame. It depends on your population. So that's the difference between the constant and variable. Another example for variable is gender. Of course, gender is a variable because I'm a girl and you can be a boy. So it varies between people. And also academic grade. For example, you've got the grade of 95 in statistics and some would got 91 and some would got 96. So this academic grade in statistics is a variable in a numeric form. So that's the difference between the constant and variable. Another example of numeric variable is height. I can be 5'4.5". Some people could be 6 footer. So height varies between people or among people. So that means this height is a variable. So it is attribute or characteristics of interest measurable on each unit of the population. So I believe you understand the difference between the constant and variable. Now, what is these two types of variable data? As I've mentioned earlier, we have the categorical variable or the qualitative variable and numeric variable or the quantitative variable. So what is this qualitative variable? It can be separated into different categories that are distinguished by some non-numeric characteristics. For example, the gender. That is qualitative variable because it's category. It's a girl and a boy or male, female. So that is an example of categorical variable. Also, the religious affiliation, the color of the leaves, that can be a qualitative variable. Some are yellow, some are green, some are dark green, so some are brown. So that is a qualitative variable. And sometimes uh, this assumes values that are not numeric but can be categorized. Not numerical but can be categorized. And then categories may be identified by either non-numerical descriptions or by numeric codes. For example, the gender can be coded as 0 and female can be coded or male can be coded as 0 and female can be coded as 1. But still, the content of that variable is about gender. So they are just using numeric codes. So again, qualitative variable, just to remember, category or qualitative variable. So another type of variable data is quantitative. As I've mentioned earlier, it's numerical variable. So numbers representing counts or measurement. Like height, like your grade, it's a numerical variable. Indicates the quantity or amount of a characteristics. And data are always numeric. And it can be discrete or continuous. What is this discrete or continuous? The discrete are whole number. For example, your grade of 91, 92, that's whole number. Or continuous, just like fractional, infinite. So it can't take a whole number. So yet they are still numeric. So that is the quantitative variable. And so let's define it to make it clear for you. Discrete, a variable with finite or countable number of possible values. Variable which consists of either a finite number of values or countable number of values. For example, the course, as I've mentioned earlier, you can be recoded. Decode some categories, so they are discrete. So for example, the first year is 1, 2, 3, 4. You cannot say that I'm 1.5. Okay, so that is the discrete, the level. The exact or the finite number of values. And then continuous, it's a variable that assumes any value in a given interval. For example, the height, the weight, the volume. Or this variable which can assume any of an infinite number of values and can be associated with points. So I think that's clear. Discrete, whole number. Continuous, not whole number. Okay, so that is the definition and example of quantitative or numerical variable. Now let's proceed to identification of variables. So in the topic 1, I have mentioned about the story of Daniel where they choose their own type of diet for Daniel and his friends. Their type of diet is mainly of fruits and vegetables, and others are food from or the royal food. And after 10 days, the eunuch would check their appearance. So will they be healthy? Will they be handsome? Will they show a good skin? So what is the independent variable or the explanatory? The explanatory in this example is the type of diet. The other one is mainly of fruits and vegetables, and the other one maybe from with composed of meat, with wines, or from the royal food. So this independent variable is the one that explains or the reasons. So it is controlled by the experimenter and expected to have an effect on the behavior of the subjects or would have an effect to your sampling unit, to your experimental unit. So in the case of Daniel, so the explanatory or the independent variable is the type of diet. So the reason, okay? The cause. Okay, so that's how we identify variables according to purpose, most especially in experimental identification. And now, what is this dependent variable? In the previous example, in the story of Daniel, the dependent variable is their physical appearance or the outcome is some measure of the behavior of subjects and expected to be influenced by the independent variable. So let's take for example in experimental researches. You apply the different levels of fertilizer to your plant and then you measure the height. Let's say after a week of applying your treatments or your level of fertilizer, then the result is, or the dependent variable is the plant height, and your independent or explanatory are the treatments or um, the, the fertilizer, the level of your fertilizer. So that is the difference between the independent and dependent. Again, I'll recall, independent variable is the explanatory variable. And then that dependent variable is the outcome or the resulting variable. So that's it, the dependent and the independent variables. Let's move on to the levels of measurement. We have uh, four hierarchical levels of measurement in which the data can be classified. We have nominal, the ordinal, the interval, and the ratio. Why do we need to learn this? Remember, or note this, the type of statistical analysis that is appropriate for a particular variable depends on its level of measurement. That's why we have to know what level of measurement is our data. Okay, let's learn about the levels of measurement. Now, nominal. It is used to differentiate classes or categories for purely classification or identification purposes. For example, the gender categories. So I am a girl, I'm female, and you are male. So that is differentiating classes. And data collected are labels, are names, are categories. So from the word itself, nominal. Frequencies or counts of observations belonging to the same category can be obtained. And it is the lowest level of measurement because you're just grouping. But there are qualities or characteristics for nominal level of measurement. It is mutually exclusive and exhaustive. So what is this mutually exclusive? Mutually exclusive is a property of a set of categories such that an individual or object is included in only one category. For example, if I'm a girl, if I'm a female, I cannot be in the male category. So that means that I should be included in only one category. Okay, and then exhaustive is a property of a set of categories such that each individual or object must appear in a category. So you will know I must be in at least in only one category, mutually exhaustive. So another example, are we of the world or of God? You cannot say that you'll be in the middle and you can say, oh, I will abstain my vote. I won't choose any if I'm the world or I'm of God. So you must appear in only one category. So our relationship or our mindset must be mutually exclusive and exhaustive. There is no in between. Okay? So it is, we must be included in only one category and we must appear in a category. So that is the characteristics of a nominal level of measurement. Mutually exclusive and exhaustive. Another level of measurement is ordinal. So from the word itself, order, it is used in ranking. For example, student class designation, student grades, faculty rank, school level, year level. So data collected are labels with implied ordering. So first honor, second honor, third honor. So that's an example of ordinal. And the difference between the two data labels is meaningless because you are just use the orders. So regardless of your, for example, the first honor got the 95 grade and the second honor is 85 and so doesn't matter the difference between the two data labels because what matters is the order, who is the first, who is the second, who is the third. So that is the ordinal level of measurement. And now what is this interval? It is used to classify, order, and differentiate between classes or categories in terms of degree of difference, either discrete or continuous. As I've mentioned earlier, discrete is whole number or continuous can be infinite number. And data can be ordered or ranked. So it also has a characteristics of a nominal and the ordinal level of measurement. But the difference between two data value is meaningful for so unlike in ordinal, the first and second, it doesn't matter the interval between them or the difference between the two data values, but in an interval, it is meaningful. And data at this level may lack an absolute 0 point. And now, what is this ratio? The fourth and the highest level of measurement. These data have all the properties of the interval scale. The number 0 indicates the absence of characteristics being measured. For example, in ratio, your allowance, if you say that you don't have money anymore, then it indicates its absence. Okay? So to summarize, we have this level of measurement and their properties. Nominal is just indicates distinction, and ordinal, it indicates distinction as well as direction of the distinction, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth. And then the interval, it also indicates distinction, indicates direction of the distinction, and indicates the amount of distinction. From the word itself, interval. And then the fourth is indicates distinction, indicates direction, like ordinal, and then indicates the amount of distinction, the interval, and the zero here is meaningful. So that is for our topic or the presentation for the topic 2 for the basic concepts. So if you have or are having a hard time, remember this Proverbs 9 verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. May God bless you as you study. Thank you, and God bless you on the next topic. God bless.